Cancer, January. So things start to lighten for you, Cancer, because you finally have this square with the planet Pluto. So square, this abrasive action, 90-degree angle that was going on with the planet Pluto, the planet of transformation and change, the planet of death and rebirth. Pluto and you have been squaring each other since 2008, and that just stopped on November 19th. So things are lightening up for you, Cancer. You've been dealing with a lot of change, kind of head on, and you are now in a calmer period, okay? You have some trines going on. Some of the trines are the positive triangle aspects with the planets, and you've had this trine with Neptune in the sign of Pisces and Saturn in the sign of Pisces for a long time now. And so this continues. This is going to end next year. We're going to have points where these planets move into the sign of Aries. They're going to retrograde back and forth a few times. And by 2026, we're going to have them moving into Aries for good. Okay. So this trine continues this month with the planet of illusion and delusion, Neptune, also known as the great healer, also known as ruling fog and unclearness, right? But it also can help us be really creative. So you have a lot of creative energy going on, Cancer, which you already do naturally, but even more so right now, it's going to be heightened. Now, remember, Capricorn is right across from you in the zodiac, right? You're opposites. And the sun's going to be in Capricorn till January 19th. So there will be a lot of emphasis on you, Cancer, because you're going to have this opposition with this huge ball of fire, the sun, right? So there may be some things about work. There may be some things about home. You always, humans, we always have that balance going on, but even more so for you, Cancer, because you are the nurturing, watery energy of the home. Okay. And so with the sun shining in Capricorn, we'll be looking at those balances. Now, you also have your full moon this month in your sign. And so at 5:27 p.m. on Monday, January 13th, we'll have this full Cancer moon. And we'll be looking at the homework balance even more. Is my work nurturing me? Am I nurturing myself? We can be so busy out there, but are we taking the time to take care of ourselves? Okay. Now we know that we're in a Mars retrograde. And we know Mars, the planet of action, the planet of motivation, how we get things done, was in the sign of Leo. It started its retrograde in the end of December, and it is moving through the sign of Leo, and then it's going to move back into the sign of Cancer, and it's coming back into the sign of Cancer on January 6th. So for most of the month, you're going to be experiencing Mars in your sign, Cancer. Now, remember, Mars is written as a symbol for men, and it's also at its worst placement, I guess you could say. It's detriment in the sign of Cancer. So Mars doesn't really like being in Cancer because Mars wants to move fast, and it's the god of war, and it's masculine energy. And so it's in this watery, slower moving sign of Cancer, which can be a little frustrating, okay? Especially if we're looking for forward movement. Please go back and listen to the January month ahead to get more information about this. But basically, this is a great time to take a deep dive into emotions. And Cancer, you're really good at it, and you can get a lot done before we launch forward this spring when some of these planets move into fire signs, okay? So take this time coming back to yourself, coming back to your heart, coming back to the things that nurture you, because usually they're pretty simple things, okay? Now, remember, Venus is going to move into the sign of Pisces on January 2nd. So even though we kind of kicked off the new year with Venus in the sign of Aquarius, so it's going to have that theme all year long of Venus in this, I always think of Aquarius as like this funky, do what I want kind of sign. And so there's the theme for the year, Venus in Aquarius, but by the 2nd, we'll have Venus moving into Pisces, which makes a positive trine with you, Cancer. And so what a great month to have a positive trine flowing aspect with Venus, the peacemaker, the harmony, the relationship sign. So take really good care of yourself, Cancer, this month. Take care of the ones you love, but make sure that you do it from your cup being full. Okay. Now I pulled a few pre-reading cards for you. And the first card I got was this really interesting card here from the spellcasters. Okay. This is the Page of Cups. So this is like young energy, and this is all about the cup of satisfaction. This definitely looks like an Aquarian, Venus and Aquarius situation. Okay. So here we go. Here's your first card in your pre-reading. There's a lot of lust vibes here. There's a lot of things about relationships. Are they satisfying? And what do we really think is satisfying? Okay, so the Page of Cups is coming in here to kind of shake things up. Now, it's interesting that the Lovers is the next card that showed up. And you've got the two. So it's almost like here's the couple, but you know, we got this third one here, although you got the dog in the background here. I like how she has her hand on her heart. And that's from the beautiful Pastoral Tarot. So this beautiful Lovers card coming in here. So you definitely have some really strong relationship themes. You definitely have some sensual energy there. Then the next card that showed up was the Six of Swords, which also has this couple in the boat. And it's interesting because this is like the Lovers is Six of Air, Six of Swords, and then you've got the Six of Air here. The Lovers would be the major arcana version. This is the minor arcana version. So we almost get to see this boat in like the different views, different angles. We also have added another child into our boat. So it's kind of almost seeing like different sides of the story, right? Everything looks really sensual in the Page of Cups, but are we seeing all sides of this? Okay. So I don't know, it kind of has vibes of like a relationship and then kind of maybe breaking some norms of the relationship, but making sure you're looking at it from all angles, I guess is kind of what I'm getting here. They're also moving forward or moving away from that. So, see if you connect with that. The Ten of Pentacles also showed up, which is like a card of family and a card of like a legacy. Okay, so it's interesting that this showed up too. Kind of almost has kids and grandkids and puppies and dogs, and it's like the whole picture here of the family. Right, so I'm just going to put that there. Those are your pre-reading cards, Cancer. So it looks like there's a lot of emotion going on. There's a lot of things about like your choices and if they are bringing you momentary pleasure or if they're going to interfere with your long-term plans and your legacy, so to speak. Okay. Now let's do a live reading here and see what else comes out. I'm going to work with the Mystical Melodies Tarot deck because I just love it. And this is the one cartoon, vintage cartoons. Okay, so we got a couple of those. I'm going to give you another spellcasters here. And we'll take one more from the Pastoral, seeing what you need to know. First card is the Strength card. Now, this is kind of a funny version of the Strength card because he's like this puppy dog, like panting, right? And it's coming in under this Page of Cups, right? So it's almost like there's almost like I don't know, I just kind of get somebody's like in puppy dog love with you or something. Somebody's like panting and waiting on your every word there, okay? Strength card is Leo energy. We know that Mars is going to be in the sign of Leo, then moving back into Cancer. So Leo rules dating, it rules love affairs, right? And then you go into this wateriness of Cancer, which wants to feel safe. And so these themes are going to be coming up for you. Your second card is the Devil card. Wow, that's really interesting because this is a reference to the Lovers in front of him. And so here we are with the Devil card showing up, a Saturn ruled card, kind of asking you who has the power here in this situation. Are there things that are being kept in the dark? Are there, it's kind of like a lot of themes about desires, okay? Your next card is the Queen of Swords, and she's no nonsense. And here she is showing up in this mix of all this like sticky love energy. And the Queen of Swords comes in and is going to make boundaries, and it isn't going to take any bowl, okay, as she sits with a bowl next to her. Let's see what your last card here is. You got the Strength card again, and it's kind of the lioness and her baby. And it's interesting because this is the card of the year for 2024. So you see the theme card of 2024 showing up, kind of surrounding you on both ends here. And so it's really asking you to connect with your heart because it's Leo. I just had a heart reading the other day, a Power of Love heart reading with one of our newer practitioners, Alexandra. And, we were kind of differentiate the conversation between the heart and then maybe the conversation between the lower chakras. Like, what's the difference, right? When we feel a connection to someone, is that coming from our heart or is that coming from below the belt, right? So that's kind of what that made me feel, like really questioning where these desires, where this need is coming from, and then really not being afraid to step into the Queen of Swords energy that wants to clear things up, make boundaries. Also, the Queen of Swords and the Devil card are both really big business cards, okay? So if you have some big decisions going on right now, be aware of where the want and the sticky, like, I really want that energy is, between the difference of what really works and really what your heart really wants, okay? So just kind of question where you're feeling things in your body, all right? So there is your reading. Let me give you a card for each week for the month of January here. Let's see what you need to know these 4 weeks in January using this little golden Art Nouveau mini tarots. And your first card, week 1, is the Ace of Wands. It's funny because it feels like a phallic symbol to me. So there's just a lot of sensual energy all over your reading. Ace of Wands, something new showing up. You've got the Queen of Wands here, she's a fun girl who wants to go live and see and do. Okay, so a queen is showing up on week 2. Week 3, we have the Two of Wands holding the world in their hand, thinking about where they want to go next and who they want to do that with. Okay, and week 4, you've got the Wheel of Fortune. The Wheel of Fortune kind of asks us to surrender. We only have so much control, but it's showing us the bigger picture. It's showing us that things are in motion. It's showing us that we need to transform with these changes. Now, it's interesting that you started off with an ace and you ended with a 10, which would be a 1 in numerology. So you kind of got ones on both sides, okay? In the middle, we have a lot of passion, got a lot of fire energy. So this is going to be a very, very interesting month for you, Cancer. I see a lot coming up about satisfaction, about desire, about what we want, and then also in the same regards, what we built, what we where we're giving our power, and finding the balance, because Strength card to me is kind of like not being too strong, not being too weak, finding some middle ground. Not like sometimes Strength can be a lot of ego involved. It's Leo, it's ruled by the sun. It might be a lot about wanting to be seen and validated. Okay, not that that's a bad thing, okay, but then there's a fine line and there's balance. So this is your reading. I'm going to put these to the side here as we go into picking some dates for you this month. And we are going to use some charms and we're going to throw them onto this calendar. Don't overthink this part. This is just fun. See what comes up. We're looking for names and we're looking specifically for dates here where these fall so that we can see where there's energy for you. The first letters that came up are LAX, lax. And I think I want to say that the first thing I thought was, isn't that the airport in Los Angeles? Isn't it called the LAX? So that was the first thing that I was feeling, was like there's some travel. It's interesting too, because I just noted on my January calendar here, it says on the side, day designer for blue sky. And I got blue sky and lax. So you may, I don't know, the first thing was like flying, okay, flying. I got the word sear, S-E-A-R. Got the word start up here that landed at the top. We have an O, we have an R, we have the word or, we have roar, R-O-A-R, more lion reference, the word them on the side, Okay, so let's see what we got. We got a fairy up here on the 1st of January. We have an O on the 3rd. We have activity here on the 6th with the letter S and a turtle. The 7th, we have an E. The 8th, we have an A. We have some activity here on Saturday. We have one of the moon phases. On the 15th, we have the symbol for Capricorn and then a blank letter here, blank Scrabble letter, okay? Capricorn, 15th, probably a lot of business stuff. We already saw there's a lot of choices. Capricorn, very earthy, Saturn-ruled sign. You got some activity on the 22nd with an R. On the 23rd, you have the number 3 and the word cheerleader. On the 25th, you have like a little Chinese coin. And most of the energies here on the 29th, which is the Lunar New Year as we move into the year of the snake. You have a little wheelbarrow, some dog tags, a little piece of quartz crystal, which is an amplifier, and a symbol for Mother Mary. Okay, so a lot here. And Mother Mary feels so like a Cancer kind of energy, the mother, right? Nurturing. And with a little piece of quartz here, and I almost want to say this is a piece of rose quartz. A lot of heart-based energy. The wheelbarrow, like you've been carrying a lot of stuff, okay? The dog tags like belonging to something, so maybe it's time to put some of that down. LAX came over here, which would be like February 1st. All right, and then we also have a symbol here, St. Christopher, protect us. So I do anticipate travel for you at some point, or maybe you're planning. Oh, also the word sea, S-E-A, all right? And so I think that you'll be deciding on something about some form of travel. You're going to start something this month. It doesn't mean you necessarily will go this month, but you definitely will be making some plans, okay? Now, I'm going to use, the dice here. We didn't roll the dice. Let's roll the dice, see what you get. And we rolled Venus in the sign of Cancer in the 8th house. Okay. So Venus, relationships, harmony, it's written as a symbol for women, but it rules all relationships. It's showing up in the watery sign of Cancer, which you are, okay? So a lot about nurturing. And in the 8th house, which is Scorpio's house. Scorpio rules sex. You got a ton of sexual energy here, okay? So there's almost like this nurturing, loving energy, but it's also kind of asking you to put down a burden, to really question where these feelings are coming from, to start fresh, to almost like step away for a little bit and look at things from a clearer perspective, all right? Let me give you some dates here for the month of January. So we did the ones off the charms. Let's see what the dice give us and see if they match up at all. So you rolled Venus, and you know already you're going to have a lot of themes of Venus this month because it's going to be trining you in the watery sign of Pisces. Now, Venus rules 2 signs in astrology. It rules the sign of Taurus, and we know the moon will move into Taurus on January 7th at 5:11 p.m. That's where we had some activity, 7th, 6th, 7th, 8th. So the dice are saying the 7th to the 8th to the 9th until 8:07 p.m. would be power times for you. You also rolled the sign Cancer. The moon moves into Cancer on Saturday the 11th. That's where you have this big symbol for a full moon. Saturday the 11th, 11:24 p.m. into the 12th, into the 13th, which is the full moon in Cancer, and into the 14th until 4:12 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. These are power times for you, Cancer. I'm going to give you a few more because you get Libra also, because Venus rules Libra. The moon moves into Libra Saturday the 18th, 10:33 p.m. through Sunday the 19th. Through the 20th and until the morning of the 21st when it moves into Scorpio, which is also continued power times for you here. You rolled the 8th house, which Scorpio owns. So we continue into Tuesday the 21st, Wednesday the 22nd. We had some activity there. Thursday the 23rd, I would put a star on your calendar for Thursday the 23rd. until 11:29 p.m. Power times for you, Cancer. And I'm just kind of checking to see on the 29th, where you had a lot of charm activity, is actually not only the Lunar New Year, but it's also the new moon in Aquarius. So make your wishes for this new lunar year, and have a great month, Cancer. Thanks for joining me.